Alright everybody, what's going on everybody? Welcome in, this is BabyNation.com. Well, I don't know why I said that twice, but anyway guys, how you doing? This is BabyNation.com. Welcome back to another video here. And today we are going to be doing the analytics predictions for week 10. Well, wait, what the hell am I talking about? This is week 3. This is week 3. This is not week 10. So make sure if you guys, I'm a little sloppy today. So if you guys haven't already, make sure to hit the like, subscribe button. If you guys haven't already, make sure to join the Discord. The link's in the description. And make sure you guys do follow me on Twitch. I'm Miller28, so you guys don't miss any future streams as well. And then make sure you guys as well go check out our fantasy if you guys are interested for NBA. NBA season will be coming up soon, so make sure you guys please join that. We'll have our pick show or whatever in the NBA season, so make sure you guys do check that out. Alright, so down here, like I said, I kind of did this a little bit differently between this week and last week. Obviously, I think I'm going to have to, because we're now at that point of the season where I have to switch around the picks and basically what I did overall last week, stuff like that. I didn't do it for weeks 1 and 2 because week 1, week 2, you're going into it like, okay, so you're probably just at the same thing. Say the week 1, so I didn't do it for those. But we can do that starting here. So on the left side of your screen, you'll see the overall records about what my record is for the entire season and stuff. And then over there on the right side, you'll see what I did last week. So yeah, like I said, overall record 22-10. I mean, that's okay. I mean, I do want to get better than that because I think last year I don't think I had double-digit loss until like week 3. So yeah, we gotta do a little bit better on that. Spread picks record. I started off pretty bad, but I had a pretty big bounce back week, and that's what's keeping me above 500 right now. And then over and under picks, we just gotta get better just in general. Like I said, it's kind of hard betting against over and under, but 11 and 21 that's not really an ideal start. So we gotta do a little bit better on that. But anyway, besides that, everything else is okay here. But week 3 analytics predictions. Like I said, this video does come out on Thursday. If you guys haven't checked out our pick show, make sure you guys please do that. That was our previous video. It took a long time for me to decide on these games, so but like I said, I do apologize in advance for that. But anyway, let's go ahead and see what I got for week 3. Alright, let's begin with Thursday Night Football here. We have the Dolphins at the Bills, and I'm pretty sure we all expected, I think we all know. I mean, normally Thursday Night Football doesn't really start with an award. I mean, when you do have a game like this, there is an award, and I think this one's pretty obvious. I think everybody's going to agree with me. This is this week's ass beating of the week, or snot pounding. I don't know which one's the word. What do you guys think is what? Ass beating or snot pounding? The answer is snot pounding. But yeah, this game is going to get brutal for Miami. I'm not expecting anything here on Miami, to be completely honest. Offensively, defensively, I'm just not expecting too much. I picked Miami the first 2 weeks, and they let me down. They let me down because basically almost a quarter of my losses are just coming from the Dolphins. But yeah, I gotta go Buffalo here, 34-13. Listen, I'm not expecting this game to be close at all. I'm just kind of expecting this to be one of the biggest blowouts I think we're going to see this year in the NFL. And it's kind of crazy because I went on ESPN and it said that the Dolphins had 0% chance of beating the Bills on Thursday Night Football. So that just kind of explains everything. Plus, the Bills are just significantly better. They're at home. Miami, like I said, Miami, I felt like they had to win that game last week and get at home against the Patriots, because if they don't do that, then they're really gonna have a hard time here with the Bills, so especially in Buffalo. It was in Miami. I probably would lighten up the score a little bit, but I probably still would go for I'll probably still pick the Bills. But I remember one time, I think it was in Miami, I actually did pick the Dolphins to beat the Bills. I think it was last year when they went to Miami. I don't know, I have to check on that. But anyway, like I said, I don't even have to break anything down here. Like I said, we already know the outcome in this game. We already know who's going to win the game. The Dolphins are going to get smacked. They're going to get smacked all over the place. Not expecting this game to be close once and forever. Bills should be able to take full control in this one. So, Bills minus 12.5. That does scare me. Like I said, like last week, I think what was it? Baltimore had the big spread. I'm kind of scared about picking spreads or big spreads, but when the team is just significantly better than the other one, I feel like you just have to go with it. So I decided to go with Buffalo with the spread, and I'm gonna choose the over on 50. And if I'm being honest, I think the Bills have a good chance of covering that themselves. So So yeah, like I said, this is this week's ass beating of the week, but I don't think, like I said, I'm not expecting this game to be close. I got Buffalo destroy Miami on Thursday Night Football here. All right, next up here we got the Packers at the Cleveland Browns. Man, like I'm not expecting this game to be close either. Like I don't even have to dive anything. It's kind of like Buffalo, Miami. Like I don't have to really get into anything here. I think we already know who's going to win the game and what the outcome's going to be. Like I said, if you guys haven't checked out our pick show, these two games were first, and then we just guaranteed it off the bat. Like I said, if you guys haven't checked out the pick show, make sure you guys please do that. It's very entertaining, so make sure you guys go check it out. But anyway, here, like I said, 31-10. I'm not expecting anything too different here. This was a close contender for ass beating of the week, but I just didn't want to. I was thinking about, like, you want to go with Bills or Dolphins, which we do know that's going to be an ass whooping, or do you want to go with this game too, knowing that this game is going to be an ass whooping too? If I just get the slice to the Dolphins and the Bills, because the history between those two, and Cleveland's defense being at least a little bit respectable, so that's why I only gave the Packers 31 points. At least I know the Packers are going to throw up points, but Browns defense is a little bit respectable. Miles Garrett's going to do what he can, so I decided to go with that game with the ass beating of the week instead of this game being the ass beating of the week. But still, that's going to be a snot pounding. The Bills and Dolphins. This is still going to be an ass beating. So I got 31-10. I don't know what Cleveland's going to do here offensively. I don't know what the game plan is going to be. If you do run the ball, I just feel like for Green Bay, I don't think it really matters what you do, because what you do, because whatever what you do, the Packers are going to have an answer for it. And I just don't believe. Hold on, I'm gonna see if I can fix something real quick. No, I can't. But I just have no faith in the Browns offense. I just don't. And especially playing against a good defense like the Packers. The Packers are off to a fantastic start, and this is their first real game of the season. So I could provide some tests to it, but I just don't think so. I just don't believe that this game will be necessarily that close. I'm going to take Green Bay here 31-10 comfortably, taking care of business, improving to 3-0 on the road here. So not much hesitation. We're going here, but we're going Green Bay. All right, next up, this is a pretty interesting one, actually. We got the Colts traveling into Tennessee. Listen, the Colts, they're actually playing some really good damn football right now. I was not expected to beat the Broncos last week, and they did, and give credit to them. Their offense played exactly how they played in week 1. They were awesome. And one thing about the Colts, which is it is a trend that's going on, current trend that's going on, which I can't believe. The Colts have not turned over the football or punted this season, and that's actually absolutely insane. The first 2 weeks of the season, Danny Dimes, he's playing well, man. Don't give credit to Danny Dimes. He's playing really well. And the Colts they took care of business on the road. They took care of business at home, and now they got to go on the road for the first time this season, and that could be a little tricky itself. But at the same time, I think it's just hard not to pick the Colts. It's just the way they've been playing, just the way that they've been moving the ball consistently on offense. Jonathan Taylor looks great. The receiving room looks great. Danny Dimes looks great. I just think the whole Colts offense looks great. And I did give them 28 points because, like I said, I still respect that Tennessee defense. The Tennessee, even though they did lose to us last week against the Rams, they played pretty damn tight in the first half, and I'll give Tennessee some credit there. But like I said, I don't think this offense does enough. Their defense will keep them in it. That's why they had like a 14-point game. But but Danny Dimes, just the way how the Colts move with the ball, it just feels like the Colts should be able to easily get past against a team, especially like Tennessee. So 28-14 I got for this game. I got the Colts hanging on and take care of business here. But like I said, if I can see maybe the Colts having some problems on offense, but yeah, I'm gonna go with the we're going to go with the Colts for this one, but I can see this one going either way. Over 43.5. I can see it, but I'm going to lean towards over in this one. Yeah, I can see that going under, but I can see that going over. And Indy minus 4.5, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Actually, if you want to bet on that, I would do that too. But Colts, the way how they're playing right now, they should be able to take care of business here on the road. All right, next up here we have Cincinnati going into Minnesota, and this game is actually harder than you guys would imagine, because Cincinnati, they're playing good football right now. Their defense has actually not been that bad, even though I'm still not falling for that. Their defense has still not been bad, but at the same time they lost Joe Burrow, and we saw Jake Browning go to the game, and he didn't really play that well. Yes, he did lead the Bengals to a victory, but he didn't really play that well. We're looking at Minnesota. Their starting quarterback's out too, J.J. McCarthy. So I believe it's Carson Wentz starting for Minnesota. So just because and just aspirate, like if both teams have their starting quarterback, I wouldn't really have to do this. But since because both starting quarterbacks are out, I think that leaves me no choice on calling this is the worst game of the week, because I just think both teams really need their starting quarterback. And hold on, I'm gonna bring that more down here so you guys can see that. But anyway, like I said, I think this is gonna be the worst game of the week, just simply because neither team has their starting quarterback in the rotation, and I just think that's gonna hurt both those teams in general. Now, who am I taking to win the game? I'm gonna take the Vikings to win this game, 21-17. Yes, the Vikings are coming off a bad performance. Yes, the Vikings are coming off of a atrocious performance. Week 2 against the Falcons in the bank. I thought that bank was gonna be an atmosphere, and it looked like it was the atmosphere, but they did just not play well. They played like ass, and I think everybody knows that. But I think Minnesota bounces back here. Will go 21-17. This game was really a coin flip because it's just really much you could do, but both backups quarterback. You got Jamar Chase versus Justin Jefferson, which I'm really excited to see. Two of the best receivers in the game, in my opinion, going at it. So yeah, I can't wait to watch that matchup. Also, I want to see how both defenses contain. I don't know. Cincinnati's defense has been alright, but I don't know if I can trust them. You know what I mean? I just don't know if I can trust them to 100%. Meanwhile, looking at Minnesota, I can trust Minnesota's defense. Yeah, I know that they allowed a good bit of points against Atlanta last week, but I'm not going to blame them, and I have no reason to blame them. I mean, if you're going to blame anybody, blame the Minnesota's offense for keep turning over the football and put Atlanta in good spots to score. So. And plus, I know with like if the Vikings actually get a punt or something good and they trust their defense, like their defense's fault, they don't really throw up a lot of points. Like no offenses are really good at scoring. So even though I do expect the Cincinnati Bengals to go out there and finish them dry, so I got them at 17 points, but I expect the Vikings to clear out, win this game, because I can trust their defense more, and I think that Carson Wentz can play well for Minnesota. So this game could go either way. So like I said, it's a coin flip. Pick who you want to here. Under 41.5. I was ready to go over if both starting quarterbacks were playing, but just because they're both backups, I'll take the under. And then Minnesota minus 2.5. I'm also feeling pretty good about. Also, it's just too low for me to pick Cincinnati. So I feel like the only reason why you're picking Minnesota in that spread if you have them winning. But anyway, yeah, like I said, I'm going to take Minnesota here at home, but this one could be a little tricky. Alright, next up here we got the Steelers taking on against the New England Patriots. I was kind of back and forth with this one, to be honest. I could see anybody winning this game. The Patriots are wearing the retros, and that's really making me look like, oh my gosh, like I need to go do with the Patriots because they're wearing the retros here. But the more I think about it, I think that, like I said, the Steelers defense, I don't know what's going on with them right now, but their defense is a pile of dog shit right now. I do not know what their defense is. Meanwhile, look at their offense. Their offense looks like it came back down to earth too. And I was very struggling to pick this game. That's why I was going with the Steelers. That's why I was originally going to go with the Patriots, because the Steelers has just been a little suspicious, especially coming off a really good performance in week 1. They did not have a good performance in week 2. But their offense did look just fine. Meanwhile, look at the Patriots. The Patriots have not been consistent either. They haven't been consistent. I thought they were gonna be. Yeah, they won last week, but they won the ugly fashion last week. So I don't know. This one was just a coin flip. This was just really up in decisions, kind of like Minnesota and Cincinnati that we just talked about. But I'm going to lean towards the Steelers here on the road, the more veteran team, the more experienced team. But I can absolutely see the Patriots winning this. Like I said, I think this one could go either way. I think it's a coin flip. No matter, pick who you want to here. I think Aaron Rodgers got a good night. I think both teams are going to run the ball a lot. Both teams should have success offensively. That's why I'm kind of leaning this one mean towards a shootout, because both defenses hasn't really been that great so far this season, and both offenses has shown some skill in this one. So I'm gonna lean towards this one being more of an offensive game. That's why we are going to take the over in this game with the 44.5. I feel pretty good about that, because I'm kind of expecting more of an offensive game rather than a defensive game. So we're good. So I'm going to lean towards the Steelers 28-23. I can see this one going either way, but I'll lean towards Pittsburgh on the road 44.5, and I'm going to take Pittsburgh. Obviously, you guys know how spread works. Every single time you pick an underdog to win, you have to pick them with the spread total, no matter what it is, plus 1.5. So I understand the Patriots being the favorite in this game. They have looked all right. But I think I think this match is just two equal teams going at it. So, but I'm normally I do go with the home team in this situation, but I'm gonna go towards the veteran team in Pittsburgh. But like I said, this is a toss up and just could go either way. But I'm gonna lean towards that Pittsburgh Steelers defense to win them out. All right, next up we got my Los Angeles Rams playing against the Philadelphia Eagles. And listen, I think the Rams remember this situation a couple years ago. Back in the playoffs, this was a great game. Obviously, I was emotional. My Rams fell short to the Eagles in playoffs. I'm pretty sure it was last January in the divisional round, and I know the Rams are going to be looking forward to this matchup. I know the Rams have this game circled up on their schedule and be like, oh shit, we're playing the Eagles. Okay, time to get revenge. We're getting payback. But I can absolutely see that, and I hope my Rams come out with that type of energy. Also, I think the Rams in general has been more cleaner than the Eagles, and we're going to talk about here in just a moment. But we do have another award here. This is my trickiest game of the week because I really did not. And the only reason why the pick show was out so late is because of me trying to figure out who's going to win this game. Because I think this game could realistically go back and forth, man. And I was like, oh my god, like we need to go back and forth with this game. Like this game's tough. This game is not easy, and you guys know how much I don't want to pick against the Rams. I don't ever want to pick against my guys. I think that's the most spoiled thing ever here. But when you think about it, man, it's like Eagles at home. At the same time, Saquon Barkley tore us up last year, but at the same time, the Rams were not healthy. And I do see the Rams having a better job, and I do think the Rams, like I said, they've been more consistent in Philadelphia. Offensively, I think the Rams been a better offensive team right now at the moment. I think the Rams defense is absolutely fantastic, and I do think that will have a big impact in the game. So I'm going to go 24-21, kind of low scoring game, kind of like mediocre scoring here. Both teams have great offensive weapons, so I can play AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. Rams secondary did get a little banged up a little bit at the end of that game versus Tennessee, so I can see the Eagles relying on the passing attack in this game, and at the same time I can see the Rams relying on the pass and the run because the Rams are good at both options there. So, and Matthew Stafford's playing great right now. But either way, this game can go either way. I think it's going to go back and forth here, but I'm going to decide to actually pick against my boys for the first time since last playoffs, and I'm going to go with the Eagles in this game. Unfortunately, I do unfortunately think the Eagles can close it out. But if I'm wrong, I'll take the loss. I do not care. It's my own team. I do not like I said, I hate picking against my own team, but I just feel like when the matchup is just favoring the other team, I feel like you just have to go that route. Like I said, I'm playing to win. I'm not playing for favorites. I'm playing to win the league, the picks league. So I am going to go with the Eagles to win this game. Like I said, I really wanted to pick the Rams, and I very much could because I think the Rams have a great shot to win this game. That's why I kind of hesitated with the spread there. But I decided to go with the Eagles, and over 44.5. I'm feeling good about that. I don't think. But anyway, despite the Rams, and I think they'll go up a great challenge against Philadelphia, I unfortunately got my boys falling short, but I got it for hope I'm wrong. Alright, next up here we got the Buccaneers hosting the New York Jets, and I do not think this game is going to be close either. Listen, Tampa Bay is wearing their retros, and listen, I love them damn uniforms over here, the Buccaneers. I was great. If I didn't know either one of these two teams, I would probably pick the Bucs anyway because they're wearing those uniforms. But this game, man, I gotta go with the Bucs, 31-17. I mean, I could see a bigger blowout than this, honestly. Justin Fields, if you guys haven't known, he's not playing for the Jets, so I think it's Tyrod Taylor playing quarterback for New York Jets. And the Jets are just a little inconsistent right now. Week 1, they had a fantastic offense. Their defense was horrible. Week 2, both sides of the ball were horrible. The team was just horrible in general. Week 2 against the Bills when it got absolutely blown the fuck out. So in this game, man, like I said, I think it's going to be kind of like the same outcome as Week 2 for the Jets. I'm not really expecting them to do too much of anything here. I think this is going to be an ass kicking. I'm not going to lie. 31-17. The Bucs look like one of the best offensive teams in football already. And they don't even have everyone back yet. Like I said, they're still missing Chris Godwin. They're still missing a couple guys on the offensive side of the ball. So that's a really good sign for the Buccaneers. As Baker Mayfield, he was an absolute warrior last week. He carried his team to a victory. And I give credit to Baker Mayfield. I thought he was fantastic last week at Houston. But Like, so I'm gonna go the Bucks here. I like their defense. Overall, I think they're just a better team than the New York Jets right now, and the Jets are just an absolute mess right now. So there was just no way I was going to pick the Jets to win this game either or. But Mike Evans, Baker Mayfield, Vea, like the Buccaneers should be able to do enough here to keep out the Jets. Plus, I don't think that Tyrod Taylor is going to play well in this game. He's playing against a pretty good damn defense. So 31-17 is my score. I got the Buccaneers taking care of business here in their home opener. Over spread, feel pretty good about both. I don't think I'll get none of those wrong. But I mean, this will be one of those games that I'll be shocked if the Buccaneers lose. I'll be shocked, but yeah, I'm gonna lean towards Buccaneers. They should be able to get the job done here at home, and it's in a pretty good way. All right, next up, we got the Las Vegas Raiders playing against the Washington Commanders. Like I said, I might go to this game. If I do go to this game, I will give you guys a live footage. But anyway, here I don't know what's going on about this game. I don't know who's playing and who's not playing in this game. Typically for the Commanders, I already know who's going to play for the Raiders, but for the Commanders, I don't know who's playing. Last time I checked, Jayden Daniels was questionable, but at the same time, like, he does have a chance of not playing in this game. And then I also heard that not just Jayden Daniels, I just heard that Marcus Mariota could be the backup quarterback, and we've seen at times that Marcus Mariota he can lead his team to victory. I think he done it a couple of times last year. I think he won. I think it was 2-1, 2-0 against Washington with Washington last year. So there is some good things to happen for Washington, even though Jayden Daniels still have a chance of not playing in this game. But I think I'm in the mood to just taking Washington regardless. I love this Washington team. I love how their offense is. Debo was fantastic so far this season. I like what Terry Lawrence does, and I like this rushing attack for Washington, even though they did lose Austin Eckler for a year last year, which absolutely sucks. I'm expecting to pound the ground. I mean, no matter Jayden Daniels plays or not, I'm expecting to run the football. If Jayden Daniels does not play, I got my score right now 23-20. But if Jayden Daniels does not play, I mean, I'm probably keeping the same score 23-20 now. I am expecting the Raiders to keep this more competitive. Their defense has actually not been the problem with their team. It's just been the offense. I have no problems at all about their defense. I think their defense has been fine. Like I said, their defense has been all over the place. And I give credit to them. Like, to the Raiders, I think their defense is way better than what people were imagining. So, but at the same time, Geno likes to make risky decisions. Washington's defense is pretty good, so that's what's leaning me towards Washington. If Geno was a little bit careful, I probably would take the Raiders in this game. But the rushing attack looked pretty bad last week and relied on the pass, and then Geno just made too many bad decisions. So I just feel like I have to go with that's what's making me feel like go with the Commanders regardless of the outcome here. So I'm going to go 23-20, but the Raiders do have to get Ashton Jeanty going. I do want to see him get going, but thankfully for my fantasy team, he did not last week. So I'm going to take the under 44.5. Like I said, I think, and I feel pretty good about that because the uncertainty of Jayden Daniels, stuff like that. If Jayden Daniels was playing, I can easily predict like a 30-point game here for Washington, and then Washington minus 2.5. Like I said, the only reason you're picking the Raiders there is if you actually have them winning the game, but I do not. I'm taking Washington to win this game, therefore they'll take care of the points. And like I said, we'll see who plays or not on Sunday, but I'm going to go with Washington. Alrighty, next up we got the Falcons taking on against the Carolina Panthers. I am going to take Atlanta to win this game 28-20. I was impressed by Atlanta's performance last week. They went into the bank, which is, like I keep saying, is one of the hardest teams to win in the NFL. And they went out there and just embarrassed the Vikings, especially offensively. I loved what Atlanta has done defensively. I think their offense could use still a little bit work. Bijan was great. Michael Penix did what he could, but I think the Falcons won last week because of their defense. Their defense was absolutely spectacular. They were all over the place. JJ McCarthy couldn't really do anything on there. So, especially playing against a team like Carolina, I kind of expect Atlanta to have like this similar performance. I'm kind of expecting their defense to be up there again. Carolina's offense shouldn't really have enough options here. Bryce Young, he still has not really been that good this year. And there's just a lot of questions going on with Carolina right now. Just a lot of questions, just a little uncertainty going on with them. But I do think they will keep this game somewhat close. I'm not expecting this to be a complete blowout, but I'm going to go with especially with the Carolina's home opener, and that's kind of scary. Carolina could be a little bit effective here on their home opener, and I kind of expect them to play their best football this season. Well, that's what's kind of getting me. Home opener means you play your best football of the season. I think that's what Carolina's going to do, but there's no way I'm picking them. There's no way I'm trusting the Panthers over the Atlanta Falcons, especially at these two teams' last performances. So either way, I do expect this game to be close, because I'm expecting Carolina to play well. But I just don't like the rushing defense for Carolina. I think B. John's going to run all over them. I don't like the passing against that. Carolina doesn't really have enough secondaries for that. And Carolina, I do think they will score on the ground and through, mainly on the ground. Not really expecting them to score through the air that much. So 28-20, we're going to lean towards Atlanta in this game. Take the over, take the spread. I like both. But at the end of the day, I'm going to go with the better team here, and the better team is the Atlanta Falcons on the road. Alright, next up here we have Houston taking on Jacksonville, and this game I just went back and forth, because I just did not know what to do with this one. I was thinking about Houston because Houston has a good defense, but at the same time I can't trust Houston's offense, because especially the online, because Houston's online is just absolutely horrendous, man. Like CJ Stroud is getting sacked, he's just running for his life majority of the time. Meanwhile, at Jacksonville, they had a win thrown away last week. I do not like that part of it, and that's just the down part about Jacksonville. If Joe Burrow goes down that last game, you should have won that game. But anyway, let's just go ahead and review it right now, since this game is so tricky. This is my 1-point game of the week. It was my trickiest game of the week contender, but if we didn't have the Eagles and the Rams exist, this probably would be the trickiest game of the week here. But this is my 1-point game of the week. Matter of fact, a 1-point game of the week. I think this one could go either way, either direction. There's good answers for both teams. Maybe you want to go Houston because they're 0-2. You have to get the first win this season. This game is more important right now to Houston than it is to Jacksonville. Houston cannot start the season 0-3. They have to play really well, and Houston's actually beaten Jacksonville these last couple years. So if you want to go with Houston, you can go with that. Also, if you do want to go with Jacksonville, I think that's a good option too, because Jacksonville's secondary has actually caused a lot of turnovers this season, and the Texans have been turning over the football a little bit too much. Plus, I think Jacksonville is slightly the better team right now. So, and with home, this is not their home. They played home in week 1, but at home in Jacksonville in the heat, that's why you probably want to lean towards Jacksonville. That was my answer here. My answer was Jacksonville because Travis Etienne's actually been fantastic this season, and I know Houston's defense is great, so I do think this is going to be a lower scoring game. So under 44.5, I feel pretty damn good about it. I'm feeling confident. Actually, one of my more confident picks of the week. Also, Houston plus 1.5. I'm going to pick them too, because I think Houston has a great shot at winning this game too. But I don't know, man. Like I said, this one can go either way. It can go back and forth. I kind of expect this one to be a back and forth game here, but this one definitely my hardest pick of the week, besides the Eagles and Rams. But I'm going to lean towards Jacksonville. Like I said, normally when I don't know what to do, I normally lean towards the home team in this situation. But so that's what I'm going to do here with Jacksonville. Ooh, okay, next up we got a fun one here. We got the Chargers taking on against the Denver Broncos, man. I think this one's gonna go back and forth. I'm kind of expecting a show out of these two. But by the end of the day, I trust the Chargers more. Like I said, going into this matchup before week 1, I was thinking, okay, Denver's going to win this. I think Denver's a better team. Denver has a better defense, but that has not been the case so far. Denver coming off of a loss, which they had no business in losing against the Indianapolis Colts. Their defense looked a little suspicious last week. They allowed a shit ton of points, and they lost the game because of their stupid penalties. So I think Denver cost themselves a win there to be 2-0. Meanwhile, look at the Chargers. They look fantastic right now. They went into Vegas, smacked them in the face. Their offense looks fantastic right now, which is something you probably won't expect because the receiver room is pretty dull. But the Chargers, they look pretty good offensively. Keegan Allen looks like he's been a big upgrade on that team. Like what I'm seeing from Ladd McConkey. Love what I'm seeing from Justin Herbert. He's probably one of the most entertaining quarterbacks to watch in the league right now. So I'm going to lean towards the Chargers in this one in a pretty fun affair, 27-24 bowl game. I'm kind of expecting this one to be close because Denver's offense has actually been pretty damn good this last couple weeks. And I don't think it'll go away. Like I said, the Chargers defense, it's good, but they're going to be, but Khalil Mack, if you haven't heard, I believe, I don't know what his injury is, but what I do know is he's going to be out for this game. So I was going back and forth with my responses here. Maybe Denver feels pissed off about losing that last game. You know, they come off the gates and they win this game on the road, and this is crucial because this basically who takes first place in the division right now, especially with KC struggling right now at the moment. But I'm gonna go with the Chargers. I trust them a little bit more on both sides of the ball, offensively, defensively. I just love the way how they're playing right now. So I'm gonna go with the Chargers. Chargers minus 2.5. Like I said, that's too low. The only reason why you're picking Denver is because if Denver wins, unless you have a 1 point game, which I don't have here, and over 45.5, I feel pretty good about. Like I said, this is a game that could just go back and forth, and I'm kind of expecting this one to be more of an offensive game, more than a defensive game. Because both offenses have been consistent, while both defenses has really not, especially Denver. So that's my deciding factor for me. So that's why I'm going to go with the Chargers at home. This is the Chargers home opener because you remember week 1 they had to go to Brazil. So anyway, I kind of expect this one to be a good game. Both teams will get on the ground. We'll go through the air. It will be a lot of scoring and fun opportunities, but I'm expecting more of those to go to the Chargers. Alright, next up, Saints at Seattle. I got Seattle winning this game 26-13. I know it's kind of a weird score, but you know what? It is what it is. 26-13. I got Seattle defeating New Orleans. Like I said, I don't trust New Orleans. New Orleans is going into the season. They're supposed to be one of the worst teams in all of football, and unfortunately for the Saints, they're going right down that path. The Saints, they do not look good offensively. Now they do have some good weapons on their team, like they're like Jonnu tight end. I love him right now. I keep forgetting his name, but I love him. Alvin Kamara, obviously, Chris Olave, but I'm just not trusting the Saints here. We expect to be one of the worst teams of football this season, and that's literally the path that they're going in. We're looking at Seattle. Seattle has actually been pretty okay. I mean, this season they ended up getting a huge win on the road last week, and I think they needed that more than anything because you start 0-2, especially because the division that you're in, your ass is in trouble here. So I think Seattle had a great response last week, and I think they're going to go into this game at home and just really take care of business here against the Saints. Like, if you're Seattle, you have to win this game. You got to beat the teams you're supposed to beat here. There's just no business in the world why Seattle should lose this game. Seattle has no reason to lose this game this week. So that's what we're going to go with. I don't have to get into much anything here. As long as Seattle keeps doing what they're doing on offense and maybe improve their defense a little bit more, they should be fine here. They should be able to take care of business as well. Like I said, no disrespect to the Saints, but they went 0-2 at home, and now you gotta go on the road in week 3. So that situation itself is just not working right. I do like the uniforms they're wearing this week, the Saints, but they're not gonna win this game. So I'm gonna take Seattle 26-13. I feel good about Seattle minus 7.5. I will actually kind of bet on that, honestly, that they're going to cover that. And then under 41.5, that was a little tricky. Saints could score some points. Saints have actually done a pretty decent job of keeping teams in check, but yeah, I gotta go with Seattle and everything. And then under 41.5, like I said, Saints keeps teams in check. Could be a little tricky, but this win should go to the Seahawks. Returning at home, they should be able to take care of business here. Alright, next up here we got my surprise score of the week. That is not a weekly award that I normally hand out, but anyway, we have the Cowboys playing against the Chicago Bears. I got Dallas winning this game 30-26. Like I said, I'm expecting a lot of scoring here. Both defenses look suspicious right now, and I do think that is a fact. So both defenses look suspicious. Dallas allowed 37 points to the Giants. Okay, that's not a good look. Bears allowed a 52-point game to the Detroit Lions and ended up getting their asses embarrassed on public television. That is embarrassing. But you guys know what I say. I do not trust the Bears. I trust anybody but the Bears. I said the Bears are the last team that I'll trust in the NFL right now. I don't think the Bears are just simply good enough. So in this game here, I'm going to go with Dallas 30-26, expecting both teams to have touchdowns through the air, on the ground, and I'm just kind of expecting both offenses to ball out, and I'm not really expecting either defense to really do too much of anything in this game. But But who do I trust more with the team? I think that has more, and I do like what I'm seeing from Roman Dose from the Bears, and I do like what I'm seeing on the other week too. But who has the better team? Who has the better coaching? Who has the better offense? Who has the better chemistry? Who has the better everything? I think that's the Dallas Cowboys with George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, and Jake Ferguson. I just think they'll do enough. Plus, if this is a field goal game, which I can absolutely see, I think I trust Brandon Aubrey in that situation more than I do any other kicker in the entire NFL. Not saying that they're capable, but just a kicker that can kick long field goals and looks like he can kick forever long field goals, and you can just knock it down just in general. So anyway, like I said, I'm kind of expecting both offenses to ball out. Not expecting too much defense out of these two clubs here, especially after last week's performances. But 30-26 shootout here, but I'm going to lean towards the Dallas Cowboys in this one. But I'm kind of surprised that the Cowboys are actually underdogs in this game. I mean, maybe because it's week 3, maybe because the Bears, you can't start 0-3. You're back at home at Soldier Field, and maybe you just don't want to lose this game. And at that point, I guess I get it. But like I said, I just don't trust the Bears. I just don't trust them at all. I don't trust their system. I don't trust anything that's to do with the Bears. So over 50.5, I'm actually feeling pretty good about that and take the over on that. Like I said, shootout affair here. Back at the Packers winning. Back at the Cowboys winning by 4 points in Soldier Field. All right, next up, Arizona at San Francisco. This was another tough one. I'm not gonna lie, this was another tough one. This was another one that I probably had to go back and forth with. And I was thinking about going with San Francisco because even without the bleed or not, they looked pretty all right last week. Mac Jones actually played a really good game last week, and I think Brock Purdy is still gonna be out for this game, which is kind of scaring me a little bit here. But the more you think about it, the more you're like, okay. At the same time, San Francisco, they played like Seattle, but they had George Kittle and Brock Purdy in that game, and we really didn't get to see a lot of Mac Jones in that game. Okay, so you flip over to the New Orleans game. They just won by a little bit, and then Mac Jones had a good game, but the Saints caught up with it. They kept on with them, and they made the game competitive. Me looking at Arizona, I mean, you could say that they're 2-0, but they haven't really been the best 2-0. They actually dominated for the first part of last week, and then they let the Panthers right back in it in the very last second of the fourth quarter, and basically snuck out a win. The Cardinals, you could say the Cardinals has not really looked that impressive. I do agree with you if you want to say that. But this game here, I'm going to go with the Cardinals 24-20. I think this is San Francisco's toughest opponent so far on the offensive side of the ball, and I do not know how Mac Jones is really going to play. Yes, this is San Francisco's home opener, and they're wearing the white uniforms, which kind of scares me a little bit. But at the same time, I just think you need more offensive weapons than just Ricky Parcell and all the receivers that they got. Robinson. I just feel like you need your entire. And I know Christian McCaffrey is almost back to his full form, and that could be scary. But I just feel like you need more offensive firepower. Like I said, Arizona actually has offensive firepower that they can go to. They got James Conner, they got Trey McBride, they got Marvin Harrison Jr. Like they got options in this game. I don't think if San Francisco had like George Kittle and Brock Purdy, that would probably be enough for me to pick San Francisco in this one. But like I said, I think this is just a game that you just need all your offensive weapons to be there, and San Francisco just does not have that. And I can easily see him win this game. But like I said, Arizona does not look that impressive right now, but I do like what I'm seeing from Arizona's defense as well, and I do think that will cause a little bit of San Francisco some problems. Like I said, this one's a game that you can go either way. No matter who you pick here, you're going to have a good explanation for both, but both teams are going to be able to run the ground. I think both teams are going to be able to do things through the air, but I'm going to take Arizona in this one, because like I said, they have more offensive firepower on the roster right now than more than San Francisco, and it's unfortunate because of the injury. So take over 44.5. I feel pretty good about that. I know if I had to score 44, I'm going to lean toward the over, because I feel like this is going to be like more of an offensive game. And plus 1.5 for the over under. Like I said, Arizona's underdogs, but I'm not too completely shocked about that. But I will take Arizona. Like I said, the only reason why you're picking Arizona there is if you do have them winning the game. Otherwise, you're going to San Francisco. And I think this game's going to be pretty entertaining, but I'm going to lean towards the Cardinals a little bit more due to having that offensive firepower. Alright, now we have Sunday Night Football between the Kansas City Chiefs and the New York Giants. And listen, I like what I saw from the Giants offense last week, but their defense is not good. Let me tell you, their defense looked pretty damn bad against the Cowboys. A lot of the Cowboys scored 40 points. Okay, that's an issue. But I did like what I saw of their offense. Russell Wilson probably played the best game of his career, and they still fell up short. So that's kind of unfortunate for New York. I mean, looking at Kansas City, like I said, they're 0-2. This is the first time they've been 0-2, and who knows how long. Probably majority of us, our lives have never been existed, and that's kind of what it feels like because that's just what it is. But anyway, I think this. I don't. Kansas City gotta get a win, right? There's just no way they fall to 0-3, right? There's just no shot. So I'm gonna take KC to win this game 27-18. I can see the Giants keeping this one close, but I think the Chiefs know that they're 0-2. I think the Chiefs know that they have to get a win on the board. Knowing that the Chargers win, they have a chance of being 3 games ahead of them in the standings already, which is absolutely absurd. So knowing that Kansas City situation, knowing that Patrick Mahomes, he's actually been great this season. And plus, I do think Xavier Worthy is coming back for this game. Like I said, if he's out, I think he's gonna be out for one game. Plus, the Chiefs need to be in a good spot if they want to get Rashee Rice and Hollywood, like the receivers back. They want to be in a good spot to do that. So if they can get to 4-2 by the time Rashee Rice gets back, then I think they'll be in a good spot. But for right now, I'm gonna take the Chiefs to win this game 27-18. Like I said, I trust the offense. New York's defense looks terrible right now, so I trust the Chiefs to score more points than they ever did this season. And for the Giants, like I said, KC's defense is still pretty damn. I actually like what I saw from KC's defense. I don't think it looked bad at all. I know they lost to the Eagles, but I thought their defense looked pretty in shape. Definitely way better than what they did in the Super Bowl when they played the Eagles. So I think that's what's leading me towards the Chiefs. Like I said, I don't think the Giants are going to score as many points as they did last week, especially playing against a way better defense than the Chiefs than the Cowboys. So I think the Chiefs, they run the ball a little bit, they get some stuff through the air, and I'm just kind of expecting Patrick Mahomes to eventually find out to get a win here. So we're gonna go with Chiefs. Over 45.5. Actually, did I take the over in the other this game? But it's red, but I went over. I think I went under. Yeah, I'm gonna change that. I think I went under in this game because, like I said, I'm kind of expecting more. I'm kind of expecting more defense than. Sorry about that. I forgot to fix that. But yeah, I'm going to go more towards the defensive side of the ball. So I'm going to go under in this game. And then KC minus 5.5. I'm feeling pretty good about that too. But like I said, I'm kind of expecting KC to win this game. We'll be kind of shocked that they lose this game. Especially if they lose to the Giants. We're going to have an issue. But yeah, I believe in KC. They should be able to find a way to get the job done here and prevent themselves from going to 0-3. So that'll look kind of bad as defending AFC champions. Alright, and now we got Monday Night Football between Detroit and Baltimore. This, if I'm not mistaken, this will probably be the winner of the game that we watched this week. So if you guys are around, make sure you guys stay tuned. Monday Night Football, we will be live for this game. If the vote holds up by the end or by the start of Thursday Night Football, we will be live for this game. So make sure you guys go and check out for that. Anyway, like I said, I think we're going to go ahead and dive into the award right away because I think everybody's going to agree. This is this week's best game of the week because why? Because what are we looking at if it's not? But anyway, here, like I said, I'm expecting this game to go back and forth. Detroit looked really good last week. Like Detroit looked like the Lions that we're all used to saying. They looked fantastic last week. They ended up beating this living shit out of the Bears, and that's kind of what we expect from the Lions from here throughout for the rest of the season. I mean, look at the Ravens. They bounced back too. They got a win over the Cleveland Browns pretty easily. Now, it took them a long time to get going here, but they got the win. They're wearing the All Blacks, which is very exciting. But I think this game, I think it's gonna be a great game. But I'm expecting a shootout here, 37-30. That's my score here. I got Baltimore. I'm gonna lean towards and I know this is my first time picking against Detroit in a long time, but I'm gonna go with the Ravens. Like if they're at home on Monday Night Football on ESPN, I think that team's gonna show up for that. But if you can, but I think the advantage for goes with Baltimore too is that they actually have a good defense. I think they can close it out. Detroit's defense is still a little suspicious. I know they played better last week against the Bears, but their defense it's still a little suspicious. But I think I lean more towards the Ravens about who I trust more on the defensive side of the ball, who I trust more on the offensive side of the ball. I do think the Lions have, like we saw last week, they have weapons everywhere on offense. Same thing do the Ravens, and I think this game is going to be with the defense. Do I trust more right now? And I think I trust the Ravens defense more, just a little bit. bit, just a little bit here. So I think I trust the Ravens defense just a little slightly more. But like I said, I can see this one going either way. We already know what we're getting from these two offenses, but the defense, I think that's going to be the key in this game. Which defense shows up more, and like I said, I expect the offenses to explode because I know that both teams are going to score a lot of points. But when you look at it, Baltimore being at home, and I trust their defense more, that's the deciding factor for me, and that's why I'm going to go with Baltimore. So over 53.5, you don't have to worry about that. Take the over, I don't care what it is. And then Baltimore minus 5.5. I can see Detroit covering the spread. I can easily see it, but I'm not going to predict that. I'm gonna go with the Baltimore minus 5.5. I'm gonna play it safe on that one. But like I said, this should be an incredible Monday Night Football, and if this is the winner that we get this week, I hope to see you guys during the live show. But without further ado, that's gonna go ahead and end it for you guys. I do appreciate your support. Thank you guys so much for waiting for these two videos, kind of back to back forward. So I was kind of hurry up before I had to go to college class soon. But like I said, I do appreciate your support. This is BeamerNation.com. Appreciate the patience, and we'll see you guys next week. This is BeamerNation.com. Peace out. Stay safe. See y'all next week. Peace out.